Hello crew! So this video today is about the election packet that you got in your bag, and it looks like this. This is the front page. So the first thing in your packet is a sheet that says do now, and at the top it says vocabulary, election, selecting someone or something. What are 3 things you know about elections? So I want you guys just to fill that out by yourself, just 3 things that you know about elections. You can go ahead and pause this video while you fill that out and then start it up again. So the next page says, why do we have elections? And I'm going to go ahead and read this for you guys, so follow along. The what and who of elections. Source, Ben's Guide to the U.S. Government. American citizens can choose their leaders, decide on their laws, or change their laws by voting. Citizens vote during an election. The winners of an election are called public servants, and their job is to help make and carry out laws while in office. In the United States, elections are held for many public offices. The people Americans elect for president, senators, and representatives are public servants and work for the federal government. The president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, while senators and representatives are members of Congress. They make decisions for the whole country by making or changing laws that affect everyone in the United States. These are all important jobs, and that's why Americans vote for the people who represent them. In order to vote, you must be a U.S. citizen who is at least 18 years old. In most states, you must also register to vote. Every state has its own laws about registering, and it's important to learn your state's laws before voting. You may cast your vote in a booth or at a polling place. You may also mail in your vote. This is called an absentee ballot. A group of people called election officials then count everyone's votes. Everyone has 1 vote and can only cast 1 ballot. That is why votes are so important. This is the election process used by the United States to make sure that every citizen has a chance to take part in the government and help choose the people that will serve as their leaders. Okay, so now that we've read that, we're going to do the comprehension check. So this just has a few questions on it that you need to answer. Number 1, in order to vote in the United States, you must be what 2 things? A, 18 years old and a man. B, 21 years old and a woman. C, 18 years old and a U.S. citizen. Or D, 21 years old and a U.S. citizen. Circle the correct answer. Number 2, true or false? You can only vote at a polling place. Circle true or circle false. If you circled false, write a new sentence that is true. Number 3, what are the people who count everyone's votes called? A, vote counters. B, election officials. C, election leaders. D, VIPs, very important people. Number 4, the winners of an election are called A, champions. B, statesmen. C, public voters, or D, public servants. Number 5, this is your opinion. Do you think voting is important? Why or why not? You need to answer it with 2 sentences, and they need to be complete sentences. The next, if you need to, you can pause the video and answer those questions. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Electoral College. This is the process that we use to count our votes. So I'm going to go ahead and read this to you guys. You need to follow along. What is the Electoral College? The Electoral College was established by the U.S. Congress in 1789. Why? The Founding Fathers did not like the idea of a popular election. They were concerned that presidents would always come from states with high populations. They also wondered if the public would have the knowledge necessary to make a wise choice. Obviously, they did not have 24-hour news services as we do today. The Electoral College is not a college at all, but electors chosen from each state. The Electoral College process is used to select the president and vice president of the United States. How the Electoral College works. The people in each state vote for the president. The results in a state determine what electors are selected for that state. All the elector votes for that state go for the candidate that gets the most votes in that state. The elector votes for all 50 states are added, and the candidate with the majority of the votes wins. How many elector votes does each state get? Remember, the number of electors from each state is based on the state's representation in Congress. For example, the most populous state, California, has 55 electors. The least populous states, Alaska, Delaware, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Vermont, and Wyoming, have 3 electors each. How many elector votes are required to win? There are a total of 538 elector votes. To be selected, a candidate must receive a majority of the elector votes, or at least 270 votes. How do we arrive at 538 elector votes? There's 100 senators and 435 representatives in the House, 3 electors for Washington, D.C. When we add those numbers together, we get 538. The next page in your packet is a map. So if you look at each state on the map of the United States, the number next to or inside each state represents the number of elector votes each state gets during an election year. So this is the map. So if we look at Utah, we get 6 votes. But if you look, California gets 55, Texas gets 38, Montana only gets 3, so Illinois gets 20. Using this information, you're going to answer the questions on the last sheet in your packet. This says Electoral College Math. Use the Electoral College map on the previous page to help you answer the questions below. Which state has the most elector votes? That's question 1. Question 2, which state has the least or the smallest elector votes? How many votes does our home state get, which is Utah? Number 4, how many elector votes do Missouri, Wyoming, and Vermont have all together? So you need to figure out how much each state gets and then add them. 5, find the state with the second most elector votes. What state is it? Number 6, subtract the amount of elector votes in Utah from Tennessee. Write the number sentence to match. Number 1, how many elector votes does New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas have all together? Number 2, I don't know why they started the numbers over. Oh well, number 2, how many elector votes does New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania have all together? Okay, once you have that done, then your packet is completed. This needs to be in your bag next Monday. Okay, you will receive a grade for it. All right, if you guys have any questions about this, please let me know. Thank you.